Welcome to episode 5 of our FIFA 22 Newcastle United career mode, where today we'll begin season 3 of this save. And last year was a massive success for the club. Our win in the Carabao Cup secured our place in the European Conference League for this season. Here's a look at what our group will be like. I think winning Group E has to be our ambition if we want to continue making progress in this save. And speaking of which, I want to incorporate a little bit of IRL Newcastle news, as the change of ownership for Newcastle United has been confirmed and made official. If you have any ideas how we could reflect the change of ownership for this career mode, make sure you leave that in the comments section. But for now, let's step up to European competitions will give us a nice rise in our transfer budget, 68 million to work with, to go along with a squad that I think is already capable. The change in formation to a 3-4-2-1 has been a positive thing for the club, at least for scoring goals. Our front three of Saint-Maximin, Joelinton, and Bale definitely contributed to the club's success. I want to do a better job with contracts. Right now, Bale has a crucial squad role. As he gets older, his overall rating is going to decline. So hopefully he's okay with accepting a less significant role, something like an important or rotational role for the squad. But I do want to talk more about our board objectives for this season, even if they're similar to previous years. 3 in particular, for the financial success in the long term, we need to make a 2.6 million profit from youth academy player sales within 2 years. I think this is reflective of the club's policy. A lot of promising young players have left Newcastle and went on to have a successful career elsewhere. Domestically, looking to finish in a Europa League spot in the Premier League and also reach the round of 16 of the FA Cup. And continentally, this is in line with my personal ambitions. We're looking to win the Europa Conference League. As per usual, today's transfers are heavily inspired by your suggestions left in the comment section of the last episode. Y'all thought that we should sign some more players from the clubs that are newly relegated to the championship. Unfortunately, at this stage, Bournemouth don't have a lot of 80+ potential players. Cook and Rogers are the only ones still at the club. David Brooks would have been an awesome transfer. He's very similar to Gareth Bale's play style. Pretty tall, left-footed, also from Wales. But he has made the move to Norwich, who are in the Premier League, so I think we'll let him stay there. Fulham are up next, and they've got an interesting batch of players. You got 6 that are still at the club. Also an American in there with Anthony Robinson, and 2 that have either left the club for another team or are part of the free agents. You've also got 6 players at Watford and 2 that have permanently left the club, but it was only going to be 1 player that I'm looking to sign. It's got to be Ismaila Sarr. Obviously, he's had great potential in career mode for quite some time, but he certainly deserves a move up to a Premier League club. And this is a realistic transfer because Newcastle have had some great players from Senegal over the years. The partnership of Papi Cissé and Demba Ba during Newcastle's 11-12 season was right around the time that I first started watching the Premier League. This is by far the highest profile signing that we've made up to this point in the career mode. 45 million is what we need to spend in order to bring Sarr in. That's not too much more than his actual value, and it will also surpass the fee that Newcastle paid to bring Joelinton to the club a few seasons ago. If I have one piece of advice for FIFA 22 career mode, it is to check the free agents because they are something else this year. 3 iconic players that are available on a free: Lionel Messi, Sergio Aguero, and Jerome Boateng, for whatever reason, doesn't have a player picture. As tempting as it is to bring in players of this caliber, I couldn't find any rationale to do so. Maybe Aguero with his ties to the Premier League, but I will be watching these players closely because they are going to have some great regens available in the future, probably in the free agents. Speaking of regens, I want to spend some time talking about them because I feel like a patch has to come eventually. Chiellini retired at the end of season 2, and in the first season that his regen is available, he's already at an 84 overall. That's basically what Chiellini's potential was. This has to be some sort of bug because otherwise the player is going to have 90+ potential. And it's not like this was an anomaly because Dries Mertens retired at the end of season 2 and his regen was even better at an 85 overall. It would be nice to bring in these regens, but we need to trust the process and continue improving this Newcastle team gradually. We will, however, sign a free agent with Trevor Chalobah, ex-Chelsea Youth Academy player. Has actually started to play in their first team more and more often IRL. And I like this signing because he is a very versatile option. Can play center back, center defensive mid, or center mid, which should help with improving our defensive performance. He's only going to sign as a rotational player, but we'll see how he performs in game, and if he sees enough growth in his rating, he could start to factor into our starting 11, especially as Lascelles gets older. The transfer offers for Santiago Munoz have started to roll in. 40.5 million is the bid from Celta Vigo. His evaluation's already at 33.5 million, but we're going to let him fight for the first team role. Right now, our starting striker has to be Joelinton, purely based off his performances in season 2. But I think in the long term, Munoz has more potential than Joelinton, so he may be the better option. We will have one player leaving the club at the beginning of the January transfer window. I struggled to offload players, just not a lot of offers coming in, but Shelby will be leaving for West Ham for 6 million. He used to play a rotational role for us, but as we've signed more and more younger players, I think his days at Newcastle are numbered. And it's the same sort of thing for all of these youth academy players that we've promoted. I literally loan listed every single one of them. We only received one loan offer in the summer. Anderson leaving for Sampdoria, which to be honest, I'm not unhappy about. He's one of Newcastle's actual youth academy players that I want to factor into the save. Once again, 3 new scouting updates, and I feel like a broken record, but we've yet to find a youth academy prospect that fits the profile of Alan Shearer. If this network is unsuccessful, then maybe we need to look elsewhere, maybe sign an IRL player that fits the profile a bit better. Also headed to Argentina looking for a technically gifted player. In the past, I've had some great results from this country. I feel like you get a slightly better chance of finding a higher potential player. And finally, we'll disperse our final scout to the Netherlands looking for a playmaker. We have signed one player from the Eredivisie before with Boskali, but a few seasons ago, Jorginho Wijnaldum actually made his initial move to the Premier League with Newcastle, signing from PSV. Moving forward, I'm not going to give as many updates on development plans, only if we see a change to the player's skill move, weak foot, or work rates. That will be the case for Joe Willock because he's kind of stagnated his growth. I think we need to help him out a little bit more. And in previous FIFAs, he used to have high work rates, so we'll eventually make the shift over to that in this save. We will kick off our season again in the Premier League with a fixture against Aston Villa, but throughout today's episode, I'm going to focus heavily on the Europa Conference League as it is a new competition and we also want to get some variety for the gameplay. Starting 11-wise, I think this is the squad that I'd like to use. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how Bale incorporates into this team. Still has that crucial squad role, so he's going to want to get plenty of minutes. I think Sarr could also play as a right midfielder and then we can stick Bale at his preferred right forward position. But I made a change to our tactics to hopefully improve our defensive form, making our defensive line a bit more narrow. But as we transition over to the gameplay, quick ask from you guys, if you could leave a like on the video, it's a massive help to the channel. Also subscribe if you're new around here as we continue making the push for 50,000 subscribers. Since Jack Grealish's departure for Manchester City, Villa have been busy in the transfer department. That continues in this save. Probably half of their squad consisting of new arrivals, but we have a new signing of our own. Ismaila Sarr debuting for Newcastle and debuting a new dynamic tifo. The fans are excited for it. Hopefully we can deliver a home win in our first match of the Premier League season. It's Villa to have the first highlight. It only took them 6 minutes to get the first shot on target. What a goal that is from Kasper Dolberg. We need to do a better job of just closing down the player on the ball, not trying to think 2 steps ahead and cut off those passing lanes, but just close down the space because as we continue with this career mode, players are only going to get higher and higher rated and pull off those sort of efforts more often on a consistent basis. But we look to respond right away. It's the 30th minute, still in the first half, and Sarr getting his first few chances in front of goal. Just wanted to test the keeper here, see what might happen. Unfortunately, that effort saved, but Sarr can be an assist maker, not just a goal scorer, finding Willock over to Saint-Maximin, and someone who I would still consider to be the star player at Newcastle despite the new arrivals will give us the equalizer. Second half now, as we look to build on that momentum, it's Ismaila Sarr played through, and on that right foot of his, he is clinical. It's going to be his first goal here at Newcastle, back in the Premier League. Of course, spent a number of seasons over at Watford, kind of built upon his experience and his portfolio there, and now he's carrying over that confidence to us here at Newcastle. We're still trying to hang on to that lead, though. It's Dolberg to find Bailey to Smith Rowe. Huge save from Dubravka. Pulls that sort of save off so consistently, and I don't know what we would be doing without him. I don't think we would be where we're at right now, definitely not in European competitions. But that is a poor goal to concede, both on the header initially and also for it to beat Dubravka. It's Leon Bailey of all players to score from that sort of range, and it's Ismaila Sarr that maybe should have done a better job with challenging that header. One thing I've noticed about FIFA 22 is you're just going to concede those kind of goals from time to time, and you're going to score a couple as well as we bring on Gareth Bale here in the 68th minute. It's nice that we have these quality options available off of the bench. You know, earlier on the career mode, I felt like we were only bringing on players in like the mid 70s to maybe get us a goal, but now we've got players in the lower 80s that don't even make it into the starting 11, which is just crazy to think about. But late scenes here as Matty Cash goes down the right side, sends it across, should have really been the winner for Villa. Unable to get the shot on target. We're looking to get the winner ourselves now with Santiago Munoz. Gets by one defender with ease, goes with the finesse shot effort, but saved by Martinez. On another occasion, that might find the back of the net, and it would have been a dramatic winner. But I think we take the draw here against Villa. They are a top side, probably challenging to get into the same competitions that we are this season, and we can build upon the positives like Sarr scoring his first goal for us. It's probably the toughest opponent from our group to kick off the Europa Conference League. Anderlecht have had some great players in their past and are still a decent side in career mode. Even some former Newcastle players like Mitrovic have played here. We will field rotated teams for cup matches just to make sure we're getting plenty of players involved, including Freddie Woodman, who I made the decision to keep at the club rather than setting him out on loan. Still a tough decision between him and Dubravka. Dubravka is just so good in game, but I know Woodman is a product of Newcastle's youth academy, and I would like to see him eventually take over for the starting #1 spot. But here we do a good job of actually finding Boscali in the midfield. It is one of his secondary positions, and while he's predominantly featured as a center back, really liked him in the midfield for this match and something that we may experiment more with later. He's got better passing stats than Hayden, and also he's on the shorter side, which we've conceded a lot of aerial challenges like header goals and set pieces, so maybe having a taller center back and then having Boscali in the midfield is probably the best thing for us. But we get a lot of goals early on. Saint-Maximin does a really good job here of just getting this one on his strong foot. The angles were perfect. It's an easy finesse shot to find the back of the net. It definitely seemed like luck was on our side throughout this match. In this case, we just won a header, eventually finds Sarr, who gets the effort taken off him. Then the shot ends up getting deflected straight back to Munoz. On another occasion, this would be cleared out with ease, but this time around, we get our third goal. Good to see Munoz scoring goals for us because we want to make sure that he keeps that exciting prospect status. If not, getting a potential upgrade to potential to be special. Good job here to drag that onto his left foot. Saint-Maximin making the run through, and he's going to get his brace before the halftime break. Pretty much securing the victory in this one. We're 4-0 up. We can kind of sit back in the second half because I don't see Anderlecht getting back into this fixture. But Woodman's still pulling off a couple of good saves throughout the rest of the 45 minutes. Here's Sarr finding Longstaff, back to Sarr, and that is going to be goal number 5 and goals in consecutive gameplay matches for Sarr. So far, I'm really happy with the signing. He's one of the few players that I've used so far in this Newcastle career mode that whenever he's on the ball, I feel like we have a genuine chance of creating something, whether that be a goal, whether that be an assist. Making a substitution here to bring on our youth academy prospect, Godfrey. I've considered changing him to a striker because he makes really good runs into the box, and because we haven't been able to find a great player from England yet, maybe he would be the best option. Another quality save from Woodman to keep that clean sheet. And this is what I'm talking about. The runs from Godfrey has enough pace to get by the Anderlecht players and the composure to get that one on his right foot and find goal number 6. Just incredible that we've been able to get this many by Anderlecht. You've got to wonder what the difference was in this match. Maybe we're facing weaker opposition because we really only have Premier League teams to base off of for previous matches. But I feel like we're starting to figure out tactics for this Newcastle squad, especially with this 3-4-2-1 formation. Disappointing to give up the clean sheet as we get into the 2 minutes of added extra time. But I'm not going to knock Woodman because he made 2 or 3 quality saves. Could have easily been a fixture that ended like 6-2, 6-3. Exactly how we wanted to start our campaign in Europe. A resounding victory that we can hopefully carry forward momentum for future matches. An awesome start to the season as we've gotten good results in the Premier League. A 3-2 win against Chelsea, 1-1 draw against Leicester. Now we'll try to stack wins in the Europa Conference League. Cluj is a team based out of Romania, and as someone who does career modes all around the world and not exclusively one particular league, this is why I like the addition of the Europa Conference League, because you get to see more variety. This is going to be a crucial match for Joelinton as well. I feel like Munoz has kind of stolen the spotlight as far as starting striker goes. What we saw last season, most of Joelinton's goals came in the Carabao Cup. Maybe we can see something similar here. Only time will tell though, and we'll get into these gameplay highlights. And Cluj were really quick to create chances. They seem to be playing a very high press. And while Woodman made a good stop to start things, this is a suspect goal to concede, and it kind of sums up Woodman's performance so far. He can pull off a masterclass in some matches, and then the very next fixture, he can kind of collapse. And that's not necessarily what we want for a goalkeeper. We want consistency more than anything else. Speaking of consistency, it was Saint-Maximin who basically created that goal, nutmegging the defender, finding Joelinton in the middle, and it's going to be a nice slotted finish to the side netting. This is where I think Sar excels. I set him on instructions to cut inside, which almost seems counterintuitive because he prefers to use his right foot, but with the instruction to cut inside, it allows him to kind of run towards the box and just go with those cross goal efforts. This could very well be goal of season 3, and it reiterates the point that I made where every time Sar gets on the ball, I feel like he can create some sort of magic. With a 2-1 lead, we're in an interesting predicament. We could sit back and try to absorb the pressure that Cluj are bringing on us, or we could push up and try to score a third. We were giving up a lot of efforts, but more and more quality saves from Woodman denies the equalizer. But I just had this feeling that it was a matter of time before Cluj would be able to break open our defense. This is going to be another chance here where they were very patient with their play, find the player in the middle of the box, and in the 83rd minute, it is level 2-2. Not what we want to see because we want to stack as many wins as possible in the gameplay. That we're less reliant on some of the simulated results, which could go in either team's favor. Into the 90th minute now, it's just the 2 minutes of added extra time, but it's Lewis who makes a late run and on that left foot is going to find the cross goal effort. One of the first goals that he's actually scored in the gameplay. Known to be more of a defensive-minded player. Still has the ability, though. And what is going to be a very important season for him if he can establish himself as a rotational player. He's going to give us all 3 points and continue that perfect start to the Europa Conference League. As we close in on the end of the Europa Conference League group stage, our final opponent will be Alanyaspor. We will be winning our group, but there's still a lot to be played for the remaining teams. A win could see Alanyaspor move up in the standings. I've got to hand it to our opponents outside the match we had against Anderlecht. Each of the teams that we played in the Europa Conference League have been quality, and it's led to some entertaining fixtures. Alanyaspor will get the opener in this one. Tried intercepting the pass there with Boskali, but unable to do so, and we'll need to find a way to get back into this. Bale running onto the through ball over to Sar, and it's going to be a lofted pass to Saint-Maximin. A relatively easy finish. The defense probably should have done better trying to get in the way of the pass and our player, but what are you gonna do? I mean, it's Saint-Maximin. He finds a way to score goals, whatever way it is, whether it's on a skill run or just good positioning inside the box. And it seems like that partnership of Sar and Saint-Maximin is something that we are going to continue trying to develop, as Sar will get another assist here, this time to Munoz. Really has shined here in Season 3. Good to see him getting minutes and making the most of those chances. Woodman with the save there towards the end. There weren't a whole lot of highlights in the second half, but 3 for 3 for us on the gameplay for the group stage. We were one of the favorites to win this competition at the start of the season, and I'm glad to see that we've gotten the results in the group stage to showcase that. Our final match in December will be against Southampton, and as we take a look at the table, we've done well. 4th place, 35 points, could see us move up to 3rd if we do manage to get a win and Manchester City get a loss. Although the Southampton team is hardly recognizable, there is one player in their squad that I wanted to showcase, and that is Adam Armstrong, a former Newcastle Youth Academy player that has also featured for Blackburn Rovers and of course now at Southampton. Those 3 clubs may ring a bell because they're the same teams that Alan Shearer also played for. So again, if we're unable to find a good Youth Academy prospect from England, then maybe Adam Armstrong could be the player that we sign in the future. That's just another one of those storylines that we may look to develop further, but we'll see how the career mode goes and how things progress. Good start to the match though, but I've got to say, this Southampton keeper pulled off numerous saves. You'll see that throughout the highlights. This long shot effort from Willock here in the second half, good diving stop, and Oxlade-Chamberlain actually making the transfer back to Southampton, was one of the top goal scorers for Liverpool actually throughout Season 1 and Season 2. What a save off the line that was from Sar, and Dubravka as well with the initial effort. But in the 75th minute, it's Saint-Maximin running down the left. Will cut inside onto his right foot. Willock with the effort, and it's another stop. Gareth Bale being brought off for a number of different players. You've got Cantwell. Having the variety in our starting 11 and substitutes has proved effective for us. And Cantwell down this right side. I mean, it's unfortunate to see that he kind of lost his starting 11 role to Gareth Bale and Ismaila Sarr, but he continues to perform in the minutes that he does get. We don't have a lot of great crossers in this team, but Cantwell is one of them. And fortunately, it was a fantastic run from Saint-Maximin, who at the last second gets in front of his defender and give us the only goal in this match up until this point. But typically how that works is that once you score one, a few more will follow. Willock playing through Sarr, and from this angle, he should not be scoring, but it's Sarr. He's a superstar signing, and he's going to make things too. That's exactly the result we wanted to close out December and show that we can also get winning fixtures against Premier League opposition, not just in the Europa Conference League. Should make for a good mid-season recap. We'll get into that now. This has to be one of the biggest surprises I've seen from simulated results. At the halfway mark of Season 3, it's Brighton who top the Premier League standings. As a reminder, they've just been promoted, so maybe we have a Leicester City storyline on our hands. There's still a long time left to go, but we've had a respectable campaign ourselves. Currently in a Champions League qualification position, sitting in 4th place with 38 points. Saint-Maximin has played a huge role in the club's success, scoring 12 goals from 28 appearances. Huge numbers from Sarr as well, 10 from 27, and Munoz scoring 9 from 27. Saint-Maximin also leads the club in assists, 9 from 28, and Sarr again in second, 5 from 27. So moving forward in this save, it really seems like that duo of Saint-Maximin on the left and Sarr on the right will be the standout players for Newcastle moving forward. I mentioned at the end of season 2 that I thought Dubravka was a top 5 goalkeeper in the league. He just needed better defensive structure ahead of him. That seems to have happened because he currently leads the Premier League in clean sheets, 8 from 21. Actually, a new graphic here in the news section. Really enjoy these small features being added into career mode. Hopefully we can see more of that. But switching gears to our youth academy players, again, want to talk about the top prospects that we found from each country. It's Theo Barton, a left back / center back from England with an overall of 63 and a potential of 88 to 94. We have found a center forward / striker from the Netherlands, 62 overall, 81 to 94 potential, and an alright result from Argentina, as we have also found a 56 rated center forward, potential on the lower end of 76 to 90, but maybe we'll put him through a position change and it'll be better elsewhere. Our history of reaching the finals of the Carabao Cup will come to an end for season 3, as we saw an exit in the quarterfinals against Manchester United. So Premier League and the Europa Conference League will be the main focus for us. But again, I'm asking for feedback as far as formation and tactics go. Bale has accepted a new contract with an important squad role. So while this is our current selection, I think Bale will likely shift to more of a player that features off the bench. Cantwell can take over at the right mid position, Sarr in at right forward. I was also comparing statistics, and Chalobah and Hayden have very similar stats, even as far as what secondary positions they can play. So maybe we give Isaac Hayden a run in at that left center back spot because he does have a better overall than Chalobah. If you have any ideas for transfers, feel free to leave that in the comment section below. We still have 30 or so million to work with, but I want to give thanks to channel members for supporting what we do here on YouTube. If you ever want to learn more about the membership program, click the join button right underneath the video and unlock some exclusive perks of the channel. But that's a wrap for another episode of this Newcastle career mode. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, but until next time, this has been Flick. I'll be talking to you all again soon.